Today, I'm going to be showing you the American Sign Language alphabet. If you are brand new to signing, this is a great place to start because often beginners are stuck fingerspelling words that they don't have the vocabulary to communicate yet. If you are a more advanced signer, there's a good chance your fingerspelling could use a little bit of a brush up and an improvement. So let's start with the alphabet. So first of all, the sign for fingerspelling is like this. I'm using my open 5 hand, I am bending the fingers and I'm wiggling them back and forth and circling right in front of me. Now, the location of fingerspelling is the same as this. I want to show you from the side that I'm a little bit less than a foot away from my shoulder. Where you place your hand is really going to depend on your comfort. Sometimes we have maybe injuries to our hand or tightness or arthritis that's going to affect this. For me, this is very comfortable. One of the ways to check what is comfortable for you is to do a W, which means you're touching your thumb and pinky together. If you're feeling tightness on the back of your hand, try moving your hand a little forward or a little back. If you have very severe arthritis or pain in your shoulder, you might just move down a little bit. This is still within the visual field and easy for someone to understand and to see, but it's maybe not going to hurt you as much. So don't feel like you need to stay in a position even if something hurts. And don't get too close to your shoulder because that will definitely hurt. So right about here. I am using my dominant hand, which is my right hand. This is what I call my boss hand. How are you going to figure out your dominant? Well, first of all, you're never going to force yourself to become a righty or a lefty. You always want to pick whichever hand is more comfortable because you're going to sign better. If you are not sure, if maybe you're ambidextrous or sometimes you switch hit for sports or things like that, I want you to try fingerspelling your name with your left hand and with your right hand. Whichever one is a little smoother and easier, the movements feel easier, this is going to be the hand that you use for all your signing as your boss hand, but especially for your fingerspelling. Don't waste time practicing fingerspelling with both hands and thinking that that makes you cooler. It's not a really useful skill. So focus on having really great fingerspelling with your boss hand. A. A is almost a fist, but I want you to notice that my thumb is not over. It's next to my other fingers and it's touching. Do not pull out your thumb because this is a hand shape called an open A, but it is not a letter of the alphabet. Those are not the same. And I'm going to be discussing hand shapes on another video. So A, make sure you're not tightening that much. I don't want to see squeezing. If you are leaving marks from your nails, you are squeezing too tight. The harder you squeeze, the slower you fingerspell. So be comfortable. A. B. This is also called a closed B when we talk about hand shapes. But for right now, for spelling, this is a B. Your thumb is going to come in front. You don't have to have an extreme one. You can even go like this, particularly if you have some pain over here or a previous injury. Your fingertips need to be together though. None of this stuff. B. For C, you're going to gently bend the hand and your fingers are going to be together. If your pinky separates a little bit, that's okay, but don't open up everything. C. Now, let's talk direction. Should it be this way or this way? Both are okay. You're going to see that people have personal styles. There's also preferences in different regions. So C, I always do all my letters forward facing, except for my G and the H and the X. If you notice in your area that people turn it sideways, go ahead and do that. It is exactly the same thing. For D, I want you to focus in on touching your middle finger and your thumb together. Your pointer finger should be up comfortably and you do not have to crush these together. Just be comfortable. D is one of the most frequently mistaken letters because we tend to confuse it with F, which you'll see very soon. So D is over here. Again, forward is how I do mine. If you do yours sideways because your region does, that's okay too. D. E, I want you to do a high five, open 5 hand, and then close it up. Now notice, these are not crushed together tightly. I'm very comfortable. You can either have an E that touches, a closed E, or you can have an E that pulls back, an open E. I am going to warn you though that an open E is much more likely to be seen on the East Coast and in the northern part of the United States, as opposed to a closed E, which is favored in the southern part of the United States. So if you're in the South, close up your E. If you're in some other areas, probably not a big deal. I'm from New York and we really do see both of them, but I favor an open E. When I do it, I just kind of pull my fingers in. If you are in a closed E area, pull them in and touch. E. F. Your pointer finger and your thumb are touching. Everything else needs to be really open. So don't do any of this. Open them up. Again, you do not have to be sideways. In fact, this is absolutely wrong. You need to just go forward. It's easy to tell that this is an F. Your viewer is seeing these 3 fingers up. F. You don't have to touch in any special way. F. For G, your hand will actually be sideways, which means my palm is facing me. Palm facing me. This has to be done sideways. And for this, my thumb and pointer finger are out to the side. Let me show you from the top. Face up. They're not touching together. G. H is the same, except I'm going to pull out my second finger and my thumb is going to tuck in. So it's still sideways, but it's like this. Thumb in and I go sideways. H. Let me do those again. G, H. I is going to have your pinky up and your thumb is over the rest of the hand. Again, you don't need to crush hard. I. This can be difficult for many people because the more you close up, the more pressure it puts over here and our pinkies don't get used quite as much and so they're a bit weaker. If you find it's a bit painful, just relax these fingers a little bit. For J, you're going to dip that same hand. Dip down and up. None of these big swooping J's. J like this is okay when you're doing the alphabet, but when you're actually finger spelling something, you don't have time or space to be making these big dips. So keep it small. Small wrist action, J. K is going to be the 3 fingers up and I'm going to touch my thumb to my middle finger. The reason why I explain it this way is because these fingers are not even. It's not like this. It's actually this middle finger protruding slightly. When you touch your thumb to the middle finger, it automatically pops out forward. K. It is not sideways. K is always forward facing. L. Finally something easy, right? Thumb, pointer finger out. L. M. Tuck your thumb under your first 3 fingers. Some people favor a very open M and some people close it up. Whatever you do, don't squeeze. Just keep it natural and comfortable. M, M. N is the same, except I'm only under 2 fingers. Now I want you to notice when I do M, as a viewer, you're going to be seeing my pinky finger. When someone does an N, you're going to see 2 fingers. That's your hint as the viewer of which letter is being used when someone is finger spelling quickly. N. Open N, closed N. O. O just touches lightly. I'm touching my first 2 fingers there. Now, I hold mine forward. That's favored in my area. If you feel comfortable doing this, or if you see people doing this, by all means turn it. P looks exactly like a K, but I'm going to drop my wrist. None of this. Keep your elbow down. Just drop your K very comfortably into a P. P. For Q, I'm going to take a G and drop it down. Again, comfortable. Keep your elbow down. Q. Let's do those again. K to a P, G to a Q. R. First 2 fingers are going to be twisted pretzel style. R. S is a fist. Don't squeeze. T. Put your thumb between your pointer and your middle finger. You don't have to close this up tight. In fact, it's hard to transition from this letter to other letters if you do that. Keep it kind of loose. Notice I'm going to see this finger sticking out a little bit. T. U. All your fingers are closed except for your pointer and your middle finger that are straight up. Keep them together because here comes V. For W, I'm going to touch my pinky and my thumb together. I can choose to overlap or I can choose to touch. It's the same. W. X is closed fist, pointer finger up, and I'm going to bend it. Some people do it forward. I do it sideways. X. Again, pointer finger, bent. X. Y. Thumb out, pinky out. This is hard for so many older people. Don't panic. Look at how loose my hand is. The harder you find it to spread your pinky, the more you probably should loosen up your hand a little bit. Y. If you tighten, your pinky follows. So don't worry too much about it. The most important thing is that when you're watching someone finger spelling or you finger spell, your thumb is out. If this was an I, your thumb would be tucked in. So this is your hint. It's a Y, even if your pinky is a little stuck. Y. For Z, close up your fist, point your finger out, and you can either just make the Z movement, or you're going to move your own whole wrist. Z, Z. And that's your ABCs.